Hello everyone, this is part 3 video on past year NEET questions from the topic S block elements. Now those who are looking at it can probably also take a look at the part 1 and part 2 so that whatever the relevant models of questions we discussed there, right, you will not be missing on that. We'll start with a question that has come in the mains paper 2011. This is a match the following type of question. Now I think even in some of the other chapters where we got these match the following questions, we would have told this point that these are a little bit tricky to answer. So even if you are not able to match all the options, if you are able to match at least some of them right, you might sometimes get through with the correct answer. So we will see how it can happen. So match list 1 with list 2 for the compositions of the substances and select the correct answer using the code. So they are giving list 1 substances, list 2 composition. A, B, C, D, like that they are giving the names of the substances. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the composition. Okay. So here in the options, if you look at option A, B, C, D, they are basically giving the matching. Now the way is we just have to at least know some of the composition. So what is plaster of Paris? Plaster of Paris is CaSO4 dot half H2O. So we can also write this as CaSO4 twice dot H2O. I mean, both these ways we can represent. Okay. So A is matched to 2. Now in the given options, right, if you just look at it, option A is matched to 3. Option B, A is matched to 2. Option C, A is matched to 1. Option D, A is matched to 4. So only one option, A is matched to 2. So by this itself, we are able to get what is the correct answer. But yeah, still we will go and look at the others. Epsomite. So what is epsomite? Epsomite is MgSO4 dot 7H2O. So most of the match the questions, right, match the following type of questions would be memory based kind of questions. Caesarite. Caesarite is MgSO4 dot H2O. Gypsum is calcium sulfate dot 2H2O. So if you look at it, right, so what is B, epsomite, right? Epsomite is B should be matched to 3, we can see. C, caesarite. Caesarite is matched to 4, MgSO4 dot H2O. D, gypsum. Gypsum is matched to 1, CaSO4 dot 2H2O. So what is the correct answer for this? It is option B. So you can see we are able to get to the answer by just matching the plaster of Paris itself. Okay, so this is the kind of an leverage we will sometimes have when it comes to these match the following type of questions. Okay, and it happens in most of the cases. In this case, lucky enough that we are able to get to the answer by just matching one. Some problems what happens is you might have to at least get 2 of the matching correct, then only we will be able to conclude what is the correct option. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. This is a question that has come in the year 2010. Which of the alkaline earth metal sulfates has hydration enthalpy higher than the lattice enthalpy? See, alkali metal sulfates. First of all, when we talk about the lattice enthalpy, lattice energy is based upon the cation and anion size comparison. Means if you have a large cation, a large anion will be able to fit efficiently in the lattice, and for them the lattice energy is going to be higher. If you have a large cation, small anion, or small cation, large anion, when the size difference is large, then the lattice energy will not be much. So if you look at sulfate ion, because we are talking about the alkaline earth metal sulfates, sulfate ion is what? It's a large anion. So how are we able to say it is a large anion? Because we can see you have 1 sulfur and 4 oxygen atoms surrounding. It's a large anion. So for the large anion, if we have a large cation, right, so large cation means that will be able to give a high lattice energy, isn't it? So if you look at the second group, whether it is beryllium, magnesium, then comes calcium, then comes strontium, then comes barium. Of course, in this question, the magnesium is not given. Okay. As you go down the group, what is going to happen? The size of the cations is going to increase. Means we are going to get to the large. Means as you go down the group, what is going to happen? The lattice enthalpy or lattice energy will increase. As you go down the group, lattice enthalpy will increase. Means the lattice enthalpy will be highest for the barium sulfate, least for the beryllium sulfate. Okay, Now the other thing is hydration enthalpy. What is hydration enthalpy? When these ions, whether it is beryllium 2 plus or calcium 2 plus or strontium 2 plus or barium 2 plus, these ions, when they are present in water, they will be surrounded by the water molecules. And since all of them are having the same charge, 2 charge, the size of beryllium is least. So beryllium will have high charge density. The same will be the situation of lithium in the case of first group. Because of high charge density, right, it can attract more layers of water molecules, means the hydration energy, right, because more number of water molecules means more hydration energy will be released. So it will be having high hydration enthalpy. So beryllium, because of its small size leading to high charge density, it will have high hydration enthalpy. So as you go down the group, what is going to happen? The hydration enthalpy decreases because it is highest at the top. Now let's come back to question. Which of the following alkaline earth metals, sulfates, has high hydration enthalpy than the lattice enthalpy? See, as you go down the group, hydration enthalpy is decreasing, means beryllium has got the high hydration enthalpy, okay, and beryllium also has got low lattice enthalpy. Now by looking at this we can tell, so we are looking at a case where hydration enthalpy will be higher than the lattice enthalpy. So where it is most likely to happen, because beryllium is having the high hydration enthalpy and lattice enthalpy is the least, beryllium sulfate, which means the possibility for the hydration enthalpy higher than the lattice enthalpy, right, will happen in which case? It will happen in the case of the beryllium sulfate. Okay, so this is how we look at the trend. In fact, the lattice energy and the hydration enthalpy, right, these are the two factors that will influence the solubility. So when the hydration enthalpy is more than lattice enthalpy, the particular salt will be more soluble. When the lattice enthalpy is more than hydration enthalpy, means the salt will not be soluble much. And lattice enthalpy also is used in commenting on the thermal stability of the compounds. When lattice energy is more, means that particular compound will be more thermally stable. Lattice energy less means it will be thermally less stable. Let's move on to the next question. This is a question that has come in the year 2010. Property of alkaline earth metals that increases with their atomic number. Means what? We have to look at the alkaline earth metals. Increasing with atomic number means what? Basically we are looking at a property that will increase down the group. The property that will be increasing down the group. So here we have to check all these 4 options. But before we discuss the things, right, let us look at these option C and D straight away. What is option C? Ionization energy. Remember, what happens to ionization energy? Ionization energy, it will be decreasing down the group. Not only in the case of the alkaline earth metals, that is for every group. Similarly, electronegativity also will be decreasing down the group. So straight away what we are able to see, this cannot be the answer, this cannot be the answer. Okay. Now look at option B, solubility of their sulfates in water. What is it? Solubility of their sulfates in water. Okay. So what do you mean by the solubility of the sulfates in water? So previous problem also we are discussing about it. Sulfate, SO4 2 minus, right, it's a large anion. So the cation size, when cation size is large, right, when the cation size is large, that will means what? High lattice energy. So as you go down the group, the size of the cation will increase. So down the group, what happens? Down the group, the lattice energy will be increasing. Down the group, the lattice energy will be increasing. Okay. And the solubility will depend upon 2 factors. Like, I think in the previous problem also we talked about it. One is lattice energy or lattice enthalpy, because lattice energy or lattice enthalpy is the energy that we need to supply to break the lattice of the solid. Then once the ions are dissolved, we will get the hydration energy or hydration enthalpy. So when the hydration energy is more than lattice energy, right, that is when the solubility will occur. Now let us look at it. As we go down the group, what is happening? The lattice energy is increasing. Now when you compare the sulfates, right, all are having same anion, beryllium sulfate, then magnesium sulfate, then comes calcium sulfate, then strontium sulfate. All of them are in the same anion. The only thing is in terms of the cations, right, beryllium has got a small size, and the charge density for the beryllium will be high. So for the beryllium, the charge density will be high. So beryllium will be able to attract more layers of water molecules. Means the hydration energy of the beryllium sulfate will be what? High. It will be hydrated more. So which means the hydration energy will be highest for the beryllium. So which means what? Look at this. For the beryllium sulfate, the hydration energy is highest. Lattice energy will be least. Why? Because lattice energy is increasing down the group. Which means beryllium sulfate will be more soluble. As you go down the group, what is happening? Hydration energy is decreasing. Other hand, the lattice energy is increasing. So the salts are going to become less and less soluble. So if you are looking at the solubility of sulfates, right, it will not be increasing down the group, it will actually be decreasing down the group. Because down the group, hydration energy is decreasing. Whereas the lattice energy part is actually increasing. So it's the counter. So we see that the solubility of the sulfates, right, will not actually increase down the group, it will be decreasing down the group. So not only in this case, but every problem, right, wherever we have the solubility, we have to look at these two things. What are the two things? Hydration energy and the lattice energy comparison. So when the hydration energy is more than lattice energy, means there will be more ease for the solubility of the salt. Okay. Now the thing is, we are left with only one option. I think if we are sitting in the final examination, right, we would probably not even discuss about this option. We will just take that option and come out, because already we have done our analysis on the other three options, right. If the other three options are wrong, means the fourth one obviously has to be the correct one. But we will take a look at the option A. So what is option A talking about? The solubility of the hydroxides in water. See, hydroxide ion, right, it's a small anion. It's not like sulfate ion. Sulfate ion is a large anion. Small anion, the small cations, right, small anion means the small cations will give high lattice energy. So which means if you look at the beryllium hydroxide, then comes magnesium hydroxide, then comes the calcium hydroxide. As you go down the group, what is going to happen? The lattice energy will be decreasing. In case of sulfates, what we have seen, the lattice energy will be increasing, but in this case it will be decreasing. Why it is decreasing? Because the hydroxide ion is a small anion. So small cations will be able to arrange themselves in the lattice efficiently, so that in the case of small cations, the lattice energy part will be high. So as you go down the group, the cation size is increasing, right? So there will be a difference in the size that is going to come. Cation will become more and more large, anion is small. So because of size difference, right, the lattice energy will not be high. Lattice energy will actually decrease down the group. Now the other thing is the hydration energy. The other thing is what? Hydration energy. Already we discussed about it. Hydration energy is what? It is going to decrease. So here we are seeing a thing. Lattice energy is decreasing. Hydration energy is also decreasing. Now like we said, the solubility of an ionic compound will depend upon these two factors, right? What are the two factors? Lattice energy and hydration energy. So lattice energy is decreasing down the group. Hydration energy is also decreasing down the group. Now the question is, which of them is going to probably decrease more? So if you look at the alkaline metal hydroxides, right, the not the alkaline metals, it is actually alkaline earth metals. Okay, so the alkaline earth metals, the lattice energy decreases as we go down the group, because we are seeing that the cations are going to become large, and that will be giving rise to difference in the size of the cations and anions. Okay, and hydration energy is also decreasing. But this is the thing, the decrease will be more than the decrease in the hydration energy. So the lattice energy is going to decrease more rapidly. So hydration energy will decrease, lattice energy is also decreasing. but which is decreasing more rapidly? The lattice energy is decreasing more rapidly. Means net what you see, since lattice energy is decreasing more rapidly, it becomes, because lattice energy is energy we have to supply, hydration energy is energy we will get. So what we observe is the solubility part of it, right, will be gradually increasing as we go down the group. So what is the correct answer for this? It is option A. Both in case of hydroxides, hydration energy decreases down the group, lattice energy decreases down the group, but lattice energy will be decreasing faster. Okay, now why this is happening as to exact numbers, when we know, then only we will be able to see the ease of solubility if you have the exact numbers. But in terms of reasoning question, right, so the reason why it could be happening is because of the lattice energy decrease being more than the decrease in the hydration energy. So if we have the exact numbers, means we will be able to compare that. Okay, so the correct answer for this is what? Option A. So wherever we have these kind of the anomalous cases, right, we have to pay a little bit more attention to it. So when you have straightforward cases, like in case of sulfates, it is straightforward, going down the group, lattice energy increasing, hydration energy decreasing, means straight away solubility will be decreasing. But here it is an anomalous case, so we have both lattice energy decreasing, hydration energy decreasing. Here we have to see relatively which is decreasing more. So lattice energy is decreasing more, hence the solubility part of it will be increasing. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Which one of the following compounds is a peroxide? So it's a straight theoretical question. What is KO2? KO2 is superoxide. BaO2 is barium peroxide. MnO2 and NO2, right, these are the normal oxides. So what is the correct answer for this? It is barium peroxide. Barium peroxide, what is the formula? BaO2. KO2 is potassium superoxide. KO2, so potassium, rubidium, they can form superoxides. What is superoxide? Superoxide is O2 minus. Peroxide means O2 2 minus. Okay, so next we have a question that has come in the mains paper 2010. A compound A on heating gives a colorless gas and a residue that is dissolved in water to obtain B. So it's a synthesis kind of question. Mostly we'll have these kind of questions in organic chemistry, but sometimes we can have in the inorganic chemistry also. Excess of CO2 bubbled through aqueous solution of B, C is formed, which is recovered in the solid form. Okay, the solid C on gentle heating gives back A, the compound is. So if you look at, this is something that we can answer only when we have some kind of an familiarity with the reactions. So if you see the idea of getting carbon dioxide gas and then bubbling CO2 will give us a compound C, and gentle heating of C will get back A. So this suggests that what we are essentially talking about is, so this is the reaction map. So A on heating gives what? Colorless gas and residue. The residue, when we dissolve in water, it will get B. So B when bubbled with CO2 will get C. C on gentle heating will give us A. So this process, right, is basically the reaction map for the calcium carbonate. When calcium carbonate is heated, that's the limestone, on heating it will give us what? Quicklime, calcium oxide, that is the residue, and a colorless gas. CO2 is of course a colorless gas. Now CO2 when dissolved in water, right, it will be giving us the calcium hydroxide. Okay, and the calcium hydroxide B, when we bubble CO2 through it, we will be getting what? Calcium hydrogen carbonate or calcium bicarbonate. So calcium bicarbonate will be in the solid form. When we gently heat it, right, we will get back calcium carbonate. So heating of calcium bicarbonate. So bicarbonate heatings will give us what? Bicarbonates on heating will give us the carbonates. So what is the correct answer for this? The compound A is basically calcium carbonate. So we must go through the reactions thoroughly, at least the reactions in the NCERT, so that we will be able to answer any such kind of questions. So mostly these kind of questions, right, the reactions part of it, whether it is S block or P block or even D and F block, if we are able to thorough ourselves in terms of NCERT level, that's good enough. Next we have a question that has come in 2009. In the case of alkali metals, the covalent character decreases in the order. So here when we look at the covalent character, so all these are what? Alkali metals. Alkali metals means what? Whether it is sodium or potassium or any of them. Now alkali metal halides is what we are talking about. So if we look at the F minus, Cl minus, Br minus, I minus, all the halides we are taking the same cation. The difference is only coming in terms of the anion. So as for the Fazan's rules, right? So what does the Fazan's rule talk about? When the anions are large, a large anion will mean what? More covalent nature. A large anion will mean what? More covalent nature. So as we go down the halogen group, right, the anion size will be increasing. So which means what? The covalent nature also will be increasing of the halides. Means Mi will be more covalent than Mbr, than Mcl, than Mf. So what is the correct answer? It is option C. So this is not as such, a question based on the S block. It is based upon the Fazan's rules in chemical bonding. Okay. Next we have a question that has come in the year 2009. Which of the following oxides is not expected to react with sodium hydroxide? See, so whenever we talk about the oxides reacting with an acid or a base, it is going to be related to the nature of the oxides, because acidic oxides will react with bases, basic oxides will react with acids, amphoteric oxides will be reacting with both acids as well as bases. Okay, so if we look at this, we are looking at the oxides that will not react with sodium hydroxide. Means the oxide must be having basic nature. I mean, by looking at this cell, we can tell what is it. Calcium oxide is basic, right? The oxides of alkaline earth metals. Okay, exception being beryllium, because beryllium oxide is what? Amphoteric. In fact, I think we have seen one question also on that in I think part 2 or part 1 video. Maybe you can check that up. So the beryllium oxide is what? Amphoteric. Calcium oxide is what? When you dissolve in water, it will produce calcium hydroxide, which is basic in nature. So other than calcium oxide, right, all others will react, because the beryllium oxide is amphoteric, so it will react with bases. Silicon dioxide is acidic, mild acidic. B2O3 is also acidic. Okay, so the correct answer is what? CaO, because it is basic oxide, right? It will not react with NaOH. SiO2 is what? Acidic. BeO is amphoteric, which means it will be reacting with both acids as well as bases. B2O3 is also what? Acidic in nature, so they will be reacting with base. Acidic oxides, this will react with the base, this will also react with base. Amphoteric means it will also react. Only the calcium oxide will not react. So what is the correct answer for this? Option A is the correct answer. Next we look at a question that has come in the year 2008. Equimolar solutions of the following were prepared in water separately. Equimolar means what? We are looking at the same concentration of all these chlorides being taken. Which one of the solutions will record the highest pH? See, when we take the equimolar solutions in water, right, what is going to happen? All these chlorides, MgCl2 or CaCl2 or SrCl2 or BaCl2, right, they will undergo the hydrolysis and we will get the respective hydroxides. So we will get MgOH twice, calcium hydroxide, strontium hydroxide and barium hydroxide. Okay, now the thing is we have to find which of them will have the highest pH. So if you look at it, right, the basic nature, what is going to happen to the basic nature as we go down the group? Because beryllium hydroxide is amphoteric. Other than that, all are basic. But as we go down the group, the basic nature is going to what? The basic nature of hydroxides will increase. The basic nature of the hydroxides will basically increase. Okay, this is the trend for both the first group as well as second group. Means the barium hydroxide will be the most basic. Remember, when you have the most basic solution, because the concentrations are all same, most basic solution means what? That is going to be having the highest pH. So wherever the solution is most basic, that is going to be having the highest pH. Okay, so wherever the basic character is more, since all of them are taken with the same concentration, that particular solution is going to have, because that will be giving us more OH minus, right? Means more OH minus concentration means when the OH minus concentration is high, okay, so that will basically mean POH will be less and accordingly pH will be high. So remember the relation, pH plus pOH is equal to what? 14 at the room temperature conditions. So this is something that we covered in the ionic equilibrium. So again, coming back to the question, what is the correct answer for this? Option D. Okay. So because the high pH means what? More basic solutions. So barium hydroxide, because that will be formed of the hydrolysis of these chlorides. So that will be most basic, hence the pH will be highest in that case. Next we have a question on the mobility. The sequence of ionic mobility in aqueous solution is. So it's a question that we probably discussed in I think part 1 or part 2 also. If you look at these ions, right, lithium ion, then sodium, then we have potassium, then rubidium and cesium. All of them are monovalent ions. Lithium has got the smallest size, then sodium. See, when the size is small, right, what does this mean? It basically means the charge density is high. So charge density will be what? High, and that results in high hydration. That results in what? High hydration, and that will basically mean that particular ion will be surrounded by more number of water molecules. So the effective size of ion will be more. So wherever there is a high hydration, don't look at the size of Na plus or K plus or rubidium plus or cesium plus. We have to look at the effective size. Effective size will be highest for what? Lithium. It's going to be highest for lithium. Then decrease for sodium. Decrease a little bit. Decreases. So that is the effective size trend. So wherever the effective size is more, right, the mobility will be what? Less. So the effective size more means mobility will be less. Effective size less means what? Mobility will be high. So what is the mobility order? The cesium plus will be more mobile than rubidium plus, than potassium, than sodium. So correct answer is option D. So the smaller size of the cation, right, will mean there will be a high hydration and the effective size will be increasing. So in the first group, what we see is lithium plus will have more effective size, and the effective size will be decreasing up to cesium. So less size means what? More mobility. So less size means more mobility, and hence cesium will have more mobility.